Guys, here you go again, Arthur
And
and
Layssa.
Layssa. So, hope you guys are ready. Hope you guys enjoyed the two previous classes. And then we're going to be doing now with you guys the Passo Basico with the balloon. That means that we're going to be doing change the direction with a little bit more dynamic. This basic step is very important because more head, we're going to be doing exactly the same
The
with some
head.
of the head movements. So you need to make sure that our base are very grounded and solid. Okay? So let's get started.
Let's go.
Yeah, so let's do this. So, starting first, so what we're going to be doing is think about this. We're going to be working some what we did before with the positions of parallel. Then we're going to be doing the pivot. That pivot is exactly the same when we did the basic steps. Remember when I did the basic step? I'm always going to be passing through that position. That position means is how we're going to be using for pivoting to change the direction. We're never ever going to use like our first step.
To change.
Yeah, so the traveling one should change the direction. We need to use our second one where we have the ball of the foot, so then we can be able to pivot. Okay, so make sure as well for you avoid to hurt your ankle when you're going to be stepping on the floor. Make sure you have the connection with your big toe.
Yeah, don't
So
let
the
this happen, okay?
big toe need to be pressing very strong on the floor. Okay, so let's do this exercise. That's it. We pivot. Now what we're going to be doing using the back leg, we're going to be using, look, pivot to one side, pivot to another side. So we pivot to one side, pivot to another side. Remember that all this power and this energy is coming through my footwork and my core. I'm not using my shoulder, okay? Your shoulder, keep nice and steady all the way through, yeah? So doing this, now we're going to be doing, we did with the back leg. So this is like a few times until you get like this energy. If you feel you're losing your balance, wobbling around a little bit, make sure you take your time and make this position of the pivot nice and clean. And don't do it too fast. Nice and slow.
Make sure you as well, when you're doing this exercise, the ball of the foot in the back leg is pressing really hard on the floor. So your foot is not loose. We're going to make it easier for you.
Yep. So we're going to be doing this, just the pivoting. So you're going to imagine like a kind of a diamond shape on the floor. And what we're going to be doing is this. From that position, we're going to start with the back leg. We're going to be pivoting. Then now we're going to pivot on the front leg. Pivoting. Then we pivot on the back leg. We pivot. Now in the front again, we pivot. And then we pivot back. And then we keep doing this a few times. Just pivoting. Yeah? If you feel you're losing your balance in that pivot, make sure you ground, and you want to make sure you're using the muscles on your thighs to help you to keep that balance more nice and solid.
Squeeze your groin. It helps you a lot.
Yeah. So doing this now, what we're going to be doing is putting the dynamic and going in motion. So we're going to be doing the basic step that we did on the class number 2. That is the back and forth. And when we step on this, like on the back leg or in the front leg, on the numbers, that is like the second step where we have the control. That's when we're going to be changing the direction. Okay?
Always on the second step. Very important to remember.
So we're going to be doing here, starting with the basic step. So you're going to start with the left leg. We're going to be doing basic step back and forth. 7, 8, and we go back, step, step, and forward, step, step, back, step, step, and forward. And then we're going to stop here. Now, when I go backwards again on my right leg, I'm going to start doing the pivot. So I'm going to step back and pivot. Now here, nice and straight, I go forward, I step. So now when I step my left, I pivot. And then I go back, step, pivot, forward, step, pivot, backward, step, and pivot. Yeah? With the timing, going to look like this. So we're going to be doing 7, 8 and 1, 2 and 3, and then we're gonna go
5, 6 and 7, 8 and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 5, 6 and 7.
Yeah. Try and make sure like the pivoting, if like you feel like you're struggling and you're putting like a jerking around it, creating too much power to your upper body to complete the pivot, pivot a little bit, just a little.
Less.
Yeah, so and then you're going to start getting used to maintain this movement nice and clean. Because for the leaders, we don't want to lead through the upper body like pushing the follower around. We want to make sure everything is driven through our footwork. Okay?
Yes.
So try make sure you do this by yourself, and you can like have this control, this dynamic by yourself, nice and solid and clean before we're doing with a partner. Okay?
And then if you see as well, when we do this movement, every time we pass through this position, so make sure your hips are between your legs. And then this is going to make sure you are always centralized.
So that's what we said in the previous class for you
Yes,
guys. So
very
if you
important
guys
to
have
remember.
any questions, make sure you guys go back on the second class so then you guys can remind. So always remember, guys, if you have troubles to do, everything you're going to be doing is a progression. So if you get in a point you're struggling too much, you might need to go back, watch the previous class again, and then you come back to the class ahead. So then it's going to make it a lot easier for you. Okay? So doing together, we're going to be doing exactly the same. So you're going to be hugging. And then from here, you're going to do the basic step.
And 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 5, 6, and 7, 8, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 5, 6, and 7, 8, and 1.
Yeah. So when you're doing the basic step, try make sure like when you have our feet straight, so try turn out just a little bit like a V shape. So when you step your base, you have this turn out that's gonna help you to maintain more your balance. If you dance with your both feet straight like this, you're probably gonna feel that you are dancing in a rope, and then you're gonna feel like a little bit weird. Yeah, so try turn out a little bit. So that's gonna make it a lot easier for you maintain your balance. Okay, so we're gonna be doing one more time for you guys, and then we're gonna be doing with the music. Yeah, so make sure when we're doing the movement here, we prepare. So we do the basic 1, 2, and 3. Remember that always the legs drive first. So we step and pivot. We step and pivot. Step and pivot. Step and pivot. And then we complete. Okay? So you're going to be doing exactly the same with the music. So we start the 5, 6,
5, 6, 7, 8.
Do basic step, do a couple of times, and then we're going to start changing the direction.
You say I've been acting kind of strangely, like I don't love you no more. You say
Yeah, so make sure when you do the movement, take your time. If you feel that it's struggling too much, remember try come back and changing nice and slow. But make sure you always do pivoting when we're gonna be doing the movement. We're going step and pivot. So the idea is create like this big circle around and come back to this point where you started.
It's very important for the ladies to remember the same idea that we did in the basic step, especially for this movement where we have the connection to pivot together. I need to aim to follow through his legs. So I want to connect from inside of my thighs. I don't want to connect through my chest. Okay?
Yes, so quick reminder for you guys. So when we're going to be doing this movement, as all the basics, we want to make sure we have our weight centered. Yeah. So when you're doing the pivoting, make sure on the traveling step, we never change the direction. The change of the direction needs to happen on the second step. That is our control step. That's when you're going to have more control to change the direction. So the traveling, it's always in a straight line. Yes. So think about when you're doing this move, visualize kind of a shape of a diamond on the floor. So then you can follow like a straight line, and then on the corner, so like on the point of intersection of the diamond is where you create the pivot to change the direction again.
Yeah.
Okay? So make sure you're doing this and take your time. Remember, if you feel struggling to do this, you might need to go back in the previous class and then make your basic more solid, and then you can try again. Okay? Don't rush. The secret is be patient and make as clean as possible. Okay? Consistency is most important than you learn everything, a bunch of steps, okay? Movements are very easy once you have your foundations on point, okay?
Yes, and remember, tip number 2, when you are doing the basic step, you want to have this little turn out, so it's going to help you with your balance and to keep more stable when you're dancing together with a dance partner. Make sure you keep pressing the big toe and your ball of the foot on the floor. Yeah, it's going to help you with stability.
Keep your feet activate. Yeah? Hope you guys enjoyed this class, and I'll be seeing you next time.